We are rebounding from the pandemic here in Tampa Bay and across the nation, and we want to be with you and make sure you have the resources you need to navigate through restarting your life during this time. In this episode, we're talking with morning anchor and reporter Vanessa Araiza, hearing about her drive to find positive stories in the community and a discussion about the changes that she's undergone in her work life. And as always, we're passing along the information that can help you. I'm James Tully with ABC Action News, and this is the Rebound Tampa Bay podcast. Now here's Vanessa.
I was actually talking with some friends, and I thought, we've been in the business for more than a decade, right? So we kind of got the hang of things when things go crazy. I can't imagine if you were just getting into the business right now. This is your first year out of school.
Oh, you could write a book.
Becoming a journalist. It's scary when you first get out of school in the first place, right? Because you have no idea what you're doing as a news reporter.
I know.
And to think you're getting out of school and starting in the middle of a pandemic.
I just had the DC correspondent for Scripps on last week, Joe St. George. He said the exact same thing. They could write novels if this is your first year in journalism.
Crazy.
But really, what we're doing here is we're trying to get some information out to people that will help them come back from this. And we had such a staggering story on this morning talking about the amount of businesses that actually received loans. Mm-hmm. It is shockingly low. I think in the Tampa Bay area, I believe you talked about it over the weekend, but in the Tampa Bay area, we're talking 91 businesses. That's it. There were 38,000 businesses in the state of Florida that applied for help, and so few of them got it.
Yeah.
That was one of the more disheartening things. The money ran out. Hopefully there'll be more.
Yeah. And it's heartbreaking because you know these people, you run into these people, these mom and pop shops that you go into, right? And there's the one that broke my heart was, remember during the protest, I think it was the first weekend of the protests and the riots that happened, and there was the Champs building that was set on fire, but right next to it, it was the Vietnamese restaurant.
Oh, I remember this.
And for some reason, we're really good at putting walls up and not letting our emotions get the best of us. But looking at that Vietnamese restaurant broke my heart because it was gone. There was nothing left there. You can't just, you can rebuild it, right? But these people are, like so many, working their tail off, and they go to work and there is nothing left there.
And they left for the day on the Saturday, and then Sunday morning they come to find that their place has been completely looted and destroyed. And it's unfortunate that happened during the demonstrations and everything, because there's a lot of good that can come out of those demonstrations. Unfortunately, the looting and everything was it was just a very unfortunate scene. Yeah,
and you go between all these mixed emotions, right? There's anger and rage, and then you have heartbreak, and then you go back and forth, and you don't know how to feel, and then, my goodness, just watching it over and over again. And we have to, because it's our job, and we take on that responsibility, but it'll hit you in the gut. Some days more than others.
So Vanessa Araiza with me here on the Rebound Tampa Bay podcast. Vanessa's our weekend anchor and also a morning reporter for us. And it was definitely during the demonstrations, but also during coronavirus. At no time has a morning anchor or a morning reporter's job been more important, because people are waking up and you're trying to be that first outlet for them to get them this latest information, whether it's latest COVID numbers or, latest information on stimulus money, and of course the demonstrations have happened and everything else, and people had to get the latest images and see what was going on and where it was safe to go and everything else. But I imagine you felt, wow, this is an unbelievable series of weekends that I am here fronting things on this desk.
Yeah, I made a joke today in our editorial meeting that today's day 7,392 out of the year 2020, because you wake up and you don't know what day it is, right? No. And you say, well, this happened, or did it happen last week, or did it happen yesterday? Because it's all running together.
Right. And the one thing that I've talked to, and we're all on the same page with this, is that giving as much context as you can to these numbers that are coming out. Because it's one thing to tell people, okay, well, we just had, when we're setting records with cases here as we approach the month of July. Yeah. As we approach the month of July, we're setting records with case numbers. It's important to give it context. So don't just say positive cases. That's an important number. Let's talk about percent positives. Right. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about hospitalizations. Where are we? What's the Department of Health telling us about that? That's stuff we want to make sure we're getting on Good Morning Tampa Bay every morning for you guys.
Yeah.
And we have been.
And I wonder if there's a better way to break this down to where it's not just, here are thousands of numbers for you this morning, right? Because eventually you turn a deaf ear to it. Because like, oh, well, here it goes again. Here's another rise. Well, can we put it in more of a perspective of let's, go with the whole, let's fill a football stadium or, these complexes. Because I honestly, myself, I'm like, okay, these are just sounding like numbers.
They're just numbers.
Right.
Exactly.
And selfishly, is it affecting me? Have I been, have I contracted the virus? Not that I know of, waiting to check those good old antibodies. But even those tests we've reported that, sometimes the antibody tests don't come back
accurately.
Right. So I think there's always new ways of reporting. How can we do it better? But it becomes overwhelming.
Well, it's an unprecedented time. And we continue to evolve as a news gathering service and as broadcasters and as a newscast, with how we disseminate information for an audience and to make it as easily digestible. And also, we don't want to waste people's time. We live in an on-demand time. Yeah. And that's part of the reason why we have the streaming service like we do at ABC Action News. And we run that all day long. And it basically runs in half-hour increments after 10 a.m. so that you can get the most important news in that short period of time. So you're right. You just don't know. You're listening to it, folks. This is a meeting of the minds here. This is the kind of discussions that we literally have in editorial meetings about how are we presenting this information and how are we doing it the best way possible.
Goodness, how we talk when we have drinks on a Saturday because we can't get away from work. But it's important though, right?
Maybe that's just you and me.
Yeah. That's why we're friends. I mean, at the end of the day, though, we're integrated into this community just like everyone else. People are like, oh, well, they're the news people. But I cry on my living room floor with a bottle of wine just like the next person. So it's
been hard on everybody.
Yeah, it really has. And you have to step away for a second. And then there's this sense of guilt. And I don't know if you feel this too, but as a journalist, there's a sense of guilt when you step away from it because it's kind of like, I should be checking this every single day. I should be watching every single presser that is coming on the television. This is my job. This is my duty to do this. But at the same time, it's not good for your psyche.
No, it's not. But at the same time, like, you do need that break. And we've done we've taken plenty of steps our management team has to make sure we're getting a little bit of extra time off here a week just to recharge and everything during this. I was going to say, where do I feel guilt? Well, I haven't felt guilt, but I've been very mindful of how we're presenting information because perception is everything, and I feel like that's my duty as an anchor to be the trusted face and voice that you wake up to and give you accurate information and also explain to you what it means.
But you don't ever feel guilty if you take 4 days off that, do you check let's say you take 4 days off, right? Do you check your email every day?
Haven't stopped. And this is the plight of a morning news person as well, because this is it. I mean, even though the day technically ends at 11 a.m., it doesn't. I mean, I check my email all throughout the day.
I'm checking it before I go to bed.
Yeah, me too. I check it. Usually I'm popping it open, checking it every 2 to 3 hours every single day until I fall asleep at 6 or 7 at night.
Yeah.
Just to make sure I'm not missing anything important or there's a directive coming from some official somewhere, whatever else. I mean, here's a great example. Last night, all the information about the mask ordinances and the executive orders that were signed all happened around 5 o'clock. So I knew it was happening, and I knew that that was going to be our lead this morning. But I'm glad I knew it before I went to sleep.
Do you think that you could take 4 days off without checking your email?
That's where I think you just hit the nail on the head of where I would feel guilty. Yeah. Because I haven't. Since I took this job, I have not. I can truthfully say I have not done that. Even when I'm on vacation, it doesn't take that long. It's okay. Just go through and just check and see things. I don't think that's a big deal.
I think it's ingrained in you.
Nah, I think so.
You're constantly just searching.
Yes, I think you
makes
are.
for great relationships.
or lack of great relationships. Well, we do want to talk about some of the things that you found in the community that can help folks today. And there was one thing you mentioned to me before we started recording.
Okay, so sweet spot, because I think we all need it right? The
Absolutely.
goodness, the humanity
Yeah.
that's alive and well. This woman started, she and I think like 3 or 4 other moms in the Tampa Bay area, their kids were going nuts, as many parents and guardians can relate. And so they started this little coloring activity. And so they would color, pages in a coloring book or create their own or some sort of art, take pictures, upload it because social distancing, and send it to different senior citizen centers. And it started locally, and then it's just expanded across the country, which
Sounds
is amazing.
wonderful. Yeah.
Right? The sweetest thing. And honestly, I was joking with the mom. I was like, do you do this for yourself? She's like, yeah. Because we all need some sort of joy. We all need some sort of escape. And something as little as, coloring in a coloring book, which I've done many of times within the past couple of months. I mean, it's so soothing.
It's cathartic.
It really is.
And that's the point you were getting across with that story, too.
Yeah. And
There's a lot of benefits for all ages.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And, the senior citizens, to know that people are wanting to reach out to them. I can't imagine the depths of loneliness that some may feel because nobody can go in there and visit them. You can Skype, you can Zoom, but, it's not the same as face to face.
It's not. That's why all the podcasts I've done where I've brought somebody into the studio here
Can't reach you.
at an appropriate social distance. When I brought somebody in as opposed to doing the Skype interviews for this pod, it just has gone so much smoother and better because I can sit back here and relax in my chair. I've got you on the guest couch. I even gave you a sparkling water.
I know you're.
But you just feel it. The connection is so much better, and I knew this going in, but I did what I had to do. Even with Skype and Zoom, I can look right here on my screen. I can see people. They can see me. It's not the same.
Yeah.
That screen in front of you, that separating screen makes such a big difference when it comes to human interaction, human contact.
And we need it. We need it so much. And even when we think, there's so many people make jokes, especially introverts who say, oh, I'm all about this pandemic because this is how I've been all along. At the end of the day, we still need that human interaction, whether, you're an introvert and you got 2 people who you like.
Absolutely.
You still need to see them.
Yeah, you do.
So
you do.
I loved that story. I mean, it was, as a quick, 30-minute, 1-hour turn of a story, but it made such a big difference.
What was the name of the group again?
Sunshine Project. Yeah, so they have a Facebook page that people can go to. Actually need to do an update with them just to see if they're still doing it.
You definitely do.
Yeah, just because you need to hear those things. And amid all of this, we keep hearing of all the good things that are happening because there's so much negativity that we need.
But we've scooped up a lot of the goodness, though, too. I mean, all of our entire reporting team has, and you've done an excellent job of going out and bringing a couple of these things in and doing some feature stories. Well, I know you crave it. I know you, and I know you crave those positive feel-good stories. And I
selfishly need it. I need to be reminded that people are good in this world.
I know. Well, it was interesting, just a couple of weeks ago. So Narcotics Overdose Prevention and Education Group, NOPE of Hillsborough, they had a record number of kids apply for their scholarship. So they give a couple $1,000s every year. And they were able to give a few more scholarships than they usually do.
Really?
But they wanted to present them in person.
Yeah.
So they actually got the Hillsborough superintendent on board, and he met with these kids, out in front of the school. And they did it open air and everything else. And I interviewed him, and I interviewed one of the executive board members of NOPE. And I'm holding the microphone and realizing, wow, haven't done this in 3 months. Because everything I've done has been a Skype or a Zoom interview. And it was a very weird feeling. But it goes back to what you said about how you need it. Like I needed, I told Beth Butler, she's wonderful, of NOPE on the executive board. And I'm just like, Beth, I haven't done this in 3 months.
Yeah.
I haven't forgotten how to interview because I've been interviewing people, but I haven't done it in person.
Yeah, and there's something about that. And it's kind of like, I don't know if this was the same way that you felt, but it's kind of like your first reporting gig again, where you're so excited and you're so eager and you can't wait to get there.
Yes, until the long work days beat you down a little bit and the giddiness goes away quickly.
Don't worry, society's going to step in and remind you.
Yeah. Oh, certainly. I did want to mention that, and I also want to talk about how creative people have gotten during this. I know you've seen some creativity because during the quarantine, the stay-at-home orders and everything, we've both seen people try to get really creative. We've seen the Tampa Theater put on virtual shows. We've seen, while the zoo was closed, for example, the zoo here in Tampa.
Yeah, and the aquarium. Which aquarium did it to where
both,
they could?
Both of them did.
Okay.
Moat Marine and Clearwater Marine Aquarium both did it. CMA and Moat. They both put on virtual shows every day around noon. They had like one of their experts come on with an animal and talk about it. It's great for kids,
Kids? Are you kidding? I'm 35. I'm all about it.
You want to hear about the sea otters, right?
Give me the penguins all day.
Vanessa's all about otters. Well, that was just a couple of examples. And we kept seeing it every single day. A new virtual thing. Okay, we're going to do this for you while you're at home. We're going to do this and this and this. And I think as a result, we're going to come out on the other side a lot better in a lot of ways when it comes to things like that. People that maybe don't have to go into an office setting anymore. And they can do things from home. It might be better for them, for their kids, for their family, if they're not driving each other crazy.
Yeah, but it is. I was just joking with Jillian, one of our
Jillian Ramos, one of our lead producers.
She's
for sure.
Holds all the walls together.
She does. She's the glue.
Yeah. But we were joking because we're both, in our fluffy socks. Everybody sees us professionally dressed from the waist up, but we've got our fluffy socks on the bottom.
What's it been like for you? Because you have been recording.
Yeah.
You've been recording. I want to use the industry term, but I'll just say you've been recording your live shot. So you've been recording. It's not a live shot. You've been basically recording yourself and putting it together in a pre-recorded piece for TV almost every single morning during the week.
Yeah.
At home.
TV magic.
At home.
Yeah,
but it's done on your phone. You're doing it on your phone.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I would have never have thought this 13 years ago when I got into the business, right? We still had the big, massive cameras and the 30-pound tripods.
And you and I, we started in TV just about the same time.
Yeah.
We were lugging all that equipment around and
so many
sweating.
Bruises on you. It's real attractive. That's what the interns need to see when they're like, I want to be on TV. No, it's been, great because I'm at home and I'm in a controlled environment of 73 degrees in my apartment, a clean bathroom. But I miss going out. God bless you. I miss going out in the field.
That was the dog, not me.
Yeah. I love going out in the field and being out in the middle of everything.
I know you do.
And I joke you get paid to be nosy in this industry, but you do. And being at home is nice and you've got advantages, but given that over going out in the field, give me the field all day.
Been an adjustment.
Yeah, that's an understatement. But I'm fortunate that I have a great company that I work for. Like you said, they've been giving us, extra time to really just have that mental.
Yeah, we've gotten one extra day a week.
Yeah.
Now we've also expanded our 4 other days to 10 hours.
But let's be honest. We work past our 8 hours that's scheduled for us because we're constantly making calls or we're constantly looking for story ideas or keeping tabs with, a follow-up that we're working on. So
I'm not going to make this all about the plight of working morning news because we chose this.
Right, yeah.
But it really is that's one of the things where, if I get a call from someone I want to do a story with and they call me at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, guess what? I'm picking up the phone. I'll do it all the time.
Right.
And people ask me, I've gotten really close to a bunch of nonprofit organizations and they, well, James, when should I call you? Because they know my schedule. And I said, just call. Just call. If I don't pick up, I'm passed out.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Maybe it's 2:00 in the afternoon. I will get to you.
Maybe it's before that. This is a judgment-free zone here. But I mean, I always say, just call me. We can make it happen.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things where, and it's been nice having that extra day for sure. And it's helped me tremendously. And I told you, my extra day is a do-nothing day.
Yeah.
It's literally a do-nothing. I take the dog. I will see the outside when I walk my dog, who's sitting next to you on the couch, and when I probably do laundry. And then I just decide I am...
When you do laundry?
I like how I said probably in front of that.
Yeah.
When I probably...
Good thing you are in a different studio.
I mean, sometimes I, look in the hamper and I'm like, we're good.
Isn't your laundry... It's in the garage?
Yeah.
So that's your term of going outside?
Yeah, does that count?
Not at all.
All right.
No,
then just for the dog.
Just for the dog.
Just for the dog. Well, but I think that... that's my recharge day, and then I get ready, and I mean,
you need it though, right, to be a better human being. And I love working in the mornings because I'm out at my pool by like noon, right?
And this goes for everybody out there listening. We've talked to psychologists, we've interviewed them. medical health professionals who are saying, especially now, you need to disconnect. You have to recharge.
Yeah.
Of course, you need to. Of course, we want you to watch the news. Of course, we want you to watch us. And with the ABC Action News app, you can watch us whenever it's convenient for you and get your headlines. Really,
no,
shameless plug, but it's true. We have that set up for you. But at the same time, we have talked to a lot of health professionals who say you've got to unplug and take time for yourself.
Or else you're going to lose it.
You will lose it.
And I remember when I was a kid, my mom would always tell me, she said, you need to take care of yourself first before you take care of anybody else. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you're useless to everybody else.
And as the two single people here talking about what it's like to live at home cooped up with a family, but I think we can relate because we have friends in the same situation. I have friends that have many
multiple
kids,
children,
multiple children doing all of that. It's especially important in those settings too.
Yeah. Or to
really
buy your friend a plane ticket to see if they can just go somewhere else. They will appreciate it.
Exactly. Well, we're going to head for home here, but any other things that you've seen that you've observed that might help people? Again, I'll say it here and I'll say it at the end of the podcast. abcactionnews.com/rebound is a great resource for you. We have job listings on there.
And that's fantastic because I have sent that to multiple people and just to have that there and just to make, it's so easy to go on, just kind of go and see what's on there.
Updated all of the time, by the way. Not just every day, every hour in some cases. That is constantly being updated.
That's a huge fear, right? We have been incredibly fortunate that we work for a good company and, knock on wood, our jobs are safe right now. But
Absolutely.
We've seen within the industry, within Tampa,
yes, we have.
That hasn't been the same for other TV stations.
It has not.
So, and you still have this underlying fear of what's going to happen. So
everybody has that. I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people have that feeling in their gut right now.
Yeah.
And the best thing we can do is to give you as many resources as possible to prepare for worst case scenario situations. Right. Because for many people, this year has been a worst case scenario.
Yeah, and
too many people.
And you don't know when the end is. I was talking to a friend about this who said, at least with hurricanes or tornadoes, severe weather, that there's going to be an end.
That's right.
And what's terrible about this is we don't know when the end is going to be.
But we can prepare for it.
Yeah.
And we can put ourselves in the best position to bounce back from it when it finally does.
Yeah.
I just want to throw a couple of the things out there. The interactive map with what's open and what's not, or what restaurants have had positive tests and what they're doing. If they're cleaning up, are they back open? That's important to know as well.
Yeah. Very important. Yeah. And takeout, support those local businesses.
As much as you possibly can. You can also listen to all episodes here of the Rebound podcast on abcactionnews.com/rebound. We've got a whole section on getting back to work, managing pressure, doing what's right, keeping track of the way people are spending your tax dollars and treating your community, keeping track of what that is. It's obviously the latest updates on the stimulus payments, what to do if you haven't received unemployment or if you haven't gotten your stimulus payment. That's on there as well.
It's so frustrating too because it's a conundrum, to say it lightly, if you will.
And you also want to know, where do I need to wear a mask?
Yeah.
When am I exempt from that?
Where can I get a mask? How do I make a mask?
Can't miss it. It's right on the top of the page there. So a great resource for you. Vanessa Araiza, thanks so much for being with me.
Hey, thanks for having me, buddy.
Please subscribe to the Rebound Tampa Bay podcast on Apple or Stitcher, and know that here at ABC Action News, we are committed to helping you rebound here in Tampa Bay. There are steps you can take to find help for you and your family, all laid out for you on abcactionnews.com/rebound. I'm James Tully. Thanks for